Hello once again and welcome to A Matter of Perspective. I'm Judge Derwin Webb, recording you from the Fraser History Museum. I'm here live with my man, Felton Spencer. Chief, what's going on with you, man?
Not much.
Man, welcome to the program, man. Thank you for coming on today. We have a lot of things I'd like to get to.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let me ask you this. You're known by many different names. What's your favorite nickname?
Chief.
And why? How'd you get that nickname?
I got that nickname when I got to the university. It was a tradition there that all incoming freshmen had to have a nickname. And Milt Wagner and Purvis and all the guys, they were like, okay, we'll figure it out. And we were playing in Crawford Gym, and I hit Purvis and knocked him down. And when he got up, I just kind of turned and ran back down court and didn't really have an expression on my face. And then Milt was like, you know what? I think you're going to be the chief because you remind me of Robert Parrish, because that's a Robert Parrish move right there. You just hit him and you didn't even care. You just went on and kept playing. And so after that, everybody started calling me chief. I knew it was official when Coach Crum started calling me chief.
Now let me say, you came to the University of Louisville in 1986 on the heels of them winning a national championship.
Correct.
So you're incoming freshman after they won the championship, but there was a road to get to that freshman year. Tell me about your upbringing at Tell me about your upbringing in Louisville and how you got recruited and how you finally got to the University of Louisville.
Well, as you said, I was born and raised here in Louisville. So I grew up watching Cardinal basketball and was always a big fan of the university. And but when I was growing up, I'd never really played basketball. I played baseball, t-ball, played baseball until I got to high school. When in middle school, I had tried out for basketball a couple times and got cut. And, the coach was like, nah. And, even though I was tall, he was like, nah, big fella, I don't think you got what it takes. Mm-hmm. So I didn't play in middle school. Freshman year in high school, made the team. But the coach at the time, Coach Fisher, he was busy with the other upperclassmen, and he didn't have time to work with a clumsy 7-foot guy. So he just kind of stuck me on the end of the bench, and I just kind of sat around. The next year was a big game changer for me because we got a new head coach, Bill Kircher, over at Eastern. And first thing he told me was, he's like, I'm willing to work if you are. And I told him, yeah. And so we got together before and after school every day. I would come in, I'd get there an hour early, and he would work me out through drills, footwork, just kind of like learning my way around what his style of play was and what he wanted from me. And I started to improve, and by the time I got to my senior year, we were doing pretty well at Eastern, and Coach Dodson and Coach Crum started coming to watch me play and decided that I might be a good addition to the program. And I was fortunate enough that they offered me a scholarship.
Well, was University of Louisville the only team that offered you a scholarship?
No. At that point, I had progressed pretty well. I picked it up quickly, and I got offers from pretty much all the major colleges: Georgetown, IU, Duke. I got offers from all over the country, but I always knew where I wanted to be.
Right. Now, you grew up watching Cardinal basketball, and you talked a little bit about what it took to get to that point. Now, let's be candid. We had a conversation one time when you were talking about just walking down the hallway in school and just falling because you were so awkward and clumsy. How did you get to the point where you were very competitive as far as being a basketball player?
Well, I was very open-minded as far as things that were suggested to me. When I got to Louisville, Coach Crum, one of the things he said was, we're going to put you on a program. We're going to get your weight down a little bit, and you're going to do some other things. So I took boxing lessons. You jumping rope, learning footwork. Just like boxers do. He got a trainer. He met with us over at Crawford Gym. Craig and I would go over there. In the evenings when it was hot and sweating, and jumping rope for a half hour, doing footwork drills. Took ballet lessons with KP and me and Craig. We got a lot of ribbon for that, but but it really helped. But that was probably the toughest thing I ever did. I mean, we went in kind of thinking it was kind of a joke, but the instructor was very serious and put us through some workouts, and I was like, I'd rather do the 2-a-days for a week than ballet every day.
So getting to that point, who were some of the major influences that you had to be who you are today?
I'd say one of the main influences was probably be my mom, because she's the one who always told me that if you want something, you have to be willing to work for it and pursue it with everything you got. You're going to get out of things what you put into it. So her, Coach Crum, I think he was a big influence on me, just for the fact that he made me mature as a person, because you know how Coach was. At the end of the season, he would have a meeting and tell you what he expected you to do, and if when practice started in the fall you hadn't done it, you were going to be sitting right next to him.
Right.
He wasn't going to play. So it kind of forced me to be, that's one of the things. You weren't spoon-fed. He didn't coddle us as players. He told us what was expected, and you either did it or you weren't going to play. And playing against Purvis every day was another good factor for me, because I got an opportunity for 3 years to play behind one of the best centers ever in college basketball. So every day I had to come in and go against Purvis, and I learned a lot just playing against him and the other guys on the team. We all kind of took it as war when we played pickup ball. We all went out and played hard, and with Kimbrough and Keith Williams and everybody, yourself, we all went at each other pretty hard and pushed each other, and I think that's why we had the level of success that we did.
So you go through 3 years playing behind Purvis Ellison. Purvis graduates, becomes the first selection in the NBA draft that next year, and you are basically given the keys to the city. Tell me about your senior year.
Senior year was really good, because I think we had a very competitive team. Myself, you, LaBradford Smith, Jerome Harmon. I mean, Tony Kimbrough. We had some really good players. And I think we were very versatile, because I think no one could really key in on any one individual player and say, if we stop this guy, we can stop them. They kind of had to worry about everybody. And I was very fortunate, because, like I said, after playing behind Purvis for 3 years, I had earned my way. Coach Crum was infamous for saying, when it's your time, you'll know. Right. I'll let y'all tell you. And he had a lot of confidence. I remember before my senior year started, having a meeting with Coach and him saying, and he said, okay, you put in all this work and effort. Now it's time to reap the benefits of that hard work. You're going to be the starting center, and we're going to be expecting you to help make up for a lot of the scoring that we lost. And I was like, okay. And my senior year, I had a good senior year. And
No, you had a great senior year. So you earned all Metro Conference player. Were you player of the year that year?
Nope, I was
runner-up to Weatherspoon.
Clarence Weatherspoon, yeah.
Runner-up to Weatherspoon, and then you prepare yourself for the NBA draft. So tell me what it was like to get the phone call to get selected.
Actually, it was a little bit shocking. Because when I came into the university, the NBA was not even a thought in my head as far as that. I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for me to get an education growing up in a single-parent home. This is the way I'm going to go to school, get education, get a good job, and be able to take care of myself and, maybe help my family out. It wasn't until my junior year that I really started thinking, well, maybe the NBA would be a possibility. And then,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Your junior year in college, that's when you start figuring it out.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Because I used to see you play every day, and I saw the potential there. So for you to say it wasn't until your junior year that you thought it could be a possibility.
Well, that's my junior year. Purvis got hurt my junior year and was out for 5 games, and so Coach started me for those 5 games. And during those five games, I think is when I found the confidence that I knew that I could play at a higher level. I played during those 5 games. I think I was averaging 25 and like 12 boards a game, and a lot of people were talking about, oh man, we're gonna have the Twin Towers now. Coach is gonna play, put Purvis at the 4, play Chief at the 5, and we're really gonna be hard to unstoppable. We got another ring, another championship coming to the city. The day after that 5th game, Purvis came back. The next game, I didn't play 1 second. I think that was kind of Coach Crum's way of letting me know, keep your head in check. You're going to get your turn. It's going to come. But those 5 games, being out there and having an opportunity to see what I could do, I think really helped me grow my confidence grow. And that's when I really started thinking, okay, yeah, I could play at the next level. Okay. And that's when I really started feeling. Then after my senior year, I knew I was going to get drafted, but when they called and asked me if I could come to New York, that's when I was kind of shocked. I was like, New York? I was like, you want me to come there? They were like, yeah, we want you to come. We want you to be in the green room. We think you're going to be in the first round. Mm-hmm. And so, they invited me out, and Susan came with us. She was Coach Crone's wife. She came out, and she traveled with us to New York, and she actually interviewed me while we were in New York City, asking me about my experience and what it was like. And it was really fun because, my mom came with me, Susan was out there with us, and it was an opportunity for my mom to see New York City. My mom had never really been to a major city like New York, even though she traveled with us a little bit, but New York, she was really excited about it because she had never been before. So we got to go out and, she got to go shopping a little bit and see, all the buildings, and she was really excited. And I think that's what I enjoyed more about it than anything, was being able to take her along and let her experience what I was going through. Right. And she really enjoyed it. And when the draft night came, I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, I knew Purvis had went first the year before, and I had been told that I was going to probably be in the first round, but they were like, we're not really sure where you're at. You might be middle to the end of the round. So when I got chosen 6th, I was pretty excited. I was like, okay.
Not only were you excited, I think all your teammates were excited too.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially number 6. You go from Louisville, relatively warm climate, to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. What kind of change was that for you?
That was a huge change for me in a lot of areas of my life, because it was it was my first time really being away from home. I was fortunate enough to play college. I grew up here, played college here. So, I'm 22 years old. I really had never, other than, road trips, I'd never really been away from home for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. So moving to a new city was exciting and kind of a little bit of a culture shock. And the weather changed once the cold weather came in Minnesota, and it comes early, was a big shock. I remember one time we was coming through the airport. We had coming back from a road trip. We still flew commercial my rookie year. And we got in, it was about 3 in the morning. We had coming back from the East Coast. And we're walking through, the airport's quiet, and the little lady on the monitor comes on and says, the time is 3:38 a.m. Current temperature is -36. Wind chill is -72. And I remember thinking to myself, I won't go home.
Okay, you make that transition from college to the pros. So you're a professional athlete at this point. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between being a professional athlete and a college athlete?
I think the biggest thing is, as far as playing at every level that I've experienced, it's the speed that you're expected to compete at. At high school, you're playing and you're out there and you think you're playing fast, but then when you go and you step on the court with a college team, everything's happening a lot faster. Your reaction time has to be faster. And the NBA is the same way. You go from playing in college where you've got 35, 40-second shot clock, and now you got 24 seconds, and you got to get down court and execute 2 or 3 plays and get a shot off, try to score. So you got to do everything a lot faster, and you have to your mind has to catch up with what you're doing. Physically, you're capable of doing it, but you have to start thinking and responding a lot quicker.
Right. Well, I hear a lot of professional athletes talk about the difference for them is that point in time when the game actually slowed down for them. Mm-hmm. When did it actually slow down for you?
It took me about halfway through, almost a year, I'd say, for it to really get to where I was comfortable when I was out there playing. Mm-hmm. It was still moments when I'd catch myself. There were times when I'd catch myself like looking like that's Magic Johnson. I got his poster up in my dorm room, you know. And I had to remind myself, oh yeah, you're supposed to be guarding, you know, Vlade Divac over there.
Right.
And so, but after a year, I got the hang of it, and it slowed down, and I got comfortable. You know, your rookie year, you hit that wall about halfway through the season.
I was going to ask you that. When did you hit the wall?
It was about halfway through. It was a little past halfway. Once we got to about game 52, that's when I started thinking, is this season ever going to come to an end? And, you know, because when you make that transition, you go from playing 1 or 2 games a week in college to now you're playing anywhere from 3 to 4 games in a week. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're playing back-to-back and with a break, and then you're playing back-to-back again. And so it's a lot more wear and tear and a lot less time to prepare. And, you know, they are expecting you to remember, you know, what this team does and what this guy does. And so you have to, like I said, you have to think a lot faster, but your body adjusts to it, and mentally your body adjusts to it before you do mentally. You get a little worn out, mental fatigue.
Right.
Trying to remember, you know, sometimes I'd wake up and be like, where are we?
Right. Talk about the business of it, because I know you played in the league 12 years.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about the business of it, because I know that you started off with Minnesota,
right,
but you didn't end with Minnesota. Talk about the business aspects of professional basketball.
After my 3rd year in Minnesota, I had originally signed a 6-year deal with Minnesota. And after my 3rd year, they traded me to the Utah Jazz, which was really a blessing. I mean, for me, it was a blessing because I was playing with the Timberwolves, which was an expansion team. So, I mean, we were struggling a lot, and, you know, we weren't having a lot of success. And coming from the University of Louisville, I mean, I was used to winning and being competitive. And now I'm on a team that's, not that the guys didn't go out and play hard, but it was just kind of a hodgepodge because they had to draft guys from that other teams didn't want. So, you know, they had to do the best they could with what they could get. And it was tough, but once I got traded to Utah, I was a little bit disappointed because you kind of feel like, wow, they don't want me, or they don't think, you know, I'm an asset to them. But at the same time, it was a blessing because I'm going to a team that's got veteran players like Karl Malone, John Stockton, Tom Chambers, Jeff Hornacek, a lot of veteran players, a lot of experience, very successful, and they want me. They think I am going to be a plus for them and that I can be a benefit to the team.
Because they had just gotten rid of Mark Eaton, or he just retired.
Mark had just retired. Mm-hmm. And so when I went there, you know, I kind of stepped right in to the starting center role. You know, Coach Sloan was there, and, you know, he told me, Rob, he was like, you're going to be my starting center, and you're going to have to step it up. This is going to be a little different. You know, we play differently here. You know, we're in high altitude. Unfortunately for me, it was still a cold city. You know, Salt Lake City, still up in the mountains, still snowy. But it was a great time in Utah because, I mean, we had great players, really good chemistry, and we had a lot of guys that just really made sacrifices for the benefit of the team. You know, we had guys like Jay Humphries, who came in from Milwaukee, was used to being the main scorer, a go-to guy, who accepted a lesser role just for the benefit of the team. And, you know, we had a lot of guys that did that. I remember Jeff Malone, you know, he was another guy, came in from Philly. He did the same thing. Used to being a big-time scorer, but when he got to Utah, they were like, this is where we're going to use you. And he would take that role. He took that role on, and it benefited us. And we had a lot of success. We went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. The first year we got beat by the Rockets by 2 points. The next year we got beat by 1 point on a buzzer beater at the end of the game.
Right.
So it was a great time for me in my career, and I really enjoyed being there. And from there, I got sent to the Orlando Magic, and they sent me to Golden State to play with the Warriors. Mm-hmm. And when that trade happened, I was a little disappointed. I had just come back from an injury, I had torn my Achilles tendon, right, and had worked hard to get back, and then to get traded. It was kind of, I was a little disappointed because I thought I was going to be in Utah for a lot longer. But again, it's a business, and, you know, teams are going to do what they think is best for the team at that time. But, you know, the one thing my agent told me was, he said, you always got to remember, just because the team is sending you somewhere else, that team that you're going to wants you to be there, and they want you to be a part of what they're trying to do. So it's not been necessarily a bad thing to be traded. So once you accept that, have the right attitude about it, you go in, you try to make the best of the situation. And I ended up going out to the Bay Area and loved it. You know, it was probably one of my favorite cities I played in. Oakland, San Francisco, great area, great people. Had some really good teammates. You know, the Warriors weren't the success that they are now, but we were competitive and we played hard, and I enjoyed being out there. And when I left there, I was a free agent, and signed and played with the Spurs for a year with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson, Malik Rose. Again, great veteran team, good veterans, really solid, played well. They had just won the NBA championship the year before. And I was thinking, okay, so I'm gonna have an opportunity to get a ring here. You know, we're gonna get the playoffs, and we're gonna be good, and we're gonna go on a roll. But unfortunately, at the end of the season, you know, David Robinson went down. So, and right after David went down, Tim Duncan got hurt. But Pop had not put me on the playoff roster, so I wasn't able to play. So I had to sit out. I had to sit on the sidelines basically and just watch. And then we got beat in the first round of the playoffs. From there, I left there after that 1 year, and then I finished my career in New York. Played 2 years with the Knicks, with Allen Houston, another hometown guy.
Right.
And we had Marcus Camby, Latrell Sprewell, Charlie Ward. I mean, we had a really good mix. Larry Johnson. We had a really good mix of guys, and we were competitive. Jeff Van Gundy was the coach, and he really good guy, very demanding coach. You know, he was going to push you and push you some more until he got all he could out of you. But I mean, he was a really good coach, really smart basketball guy, and I enjoyed playing for him. And you know, he learned a lot in the process.
Okay, so you played in the league for 12 years. I hear a lot of athletes talk about they know when it's time to stop. When did you know it was time to let it go?
After my second year with the Knicks, I had some nagging injuries that were continuing to bother me. I had some knee problems. I had a problem with I had separated my shoulder a couple times, and it was getting to the point where I went to my orthopedic guy and talked to him, and he was like, you know, he was making a joke because he said when he looked at my X-rays, he said he asked me if he could show them to his students because he said your knee. He said they look like they belong to a 75-year-old, not a 32-year-old guy. So I told him, I said, sure, show him away, and he was like, you can probably play a few more years, Chief, but he said, you know, I'm going to tell you, be honest with you, you know, the wear and tear, it's up to you. He said, you can continue to play, but more than likely you're going to end up having to have knee replacement. You're going to have trouble as you get older. And so I thought about it long and hard, and I, you know, talked it over with my family, and I was like, you know, I'd rather be able to walk and play with my kids, or, you know, at the time, than, you know, keep going. So I stepped down and retired. I knew it was time. It was
Right. Well, let me say this. I've known you for a long time, for more than 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I know that when I first got to the University of Louisville, you were an inspiration to me. You were one of my best friends because we talked about things more than just basketball. And even though you were born 7 feet tall, one of the things that you always talked about was wanting to be more than just a basketball player.
Absolutely.
So you get out of the league. I know you go into coaching, you do some other things, but you also started a family. Mm-hmm. Your mom is very important to you.
Yeah.
How has your mom influenced you to be the kind of parent you are to your kids?
I find myself quoting my mom all the time. You know, with my son, I have my oldest son is 21. He's living in Florida. He's going to Florida State. My youngest is 7, Tristan. He's with me, and like I find myself quoting her and saying things that she told me. She used to always tell me, you know, remember who you are. You know, you stand out in the crowd. You're bigger than average. You stand out in the crowd, and you got to remember who you are and carry yourself with respect. And people are going to look at you differently just because of the fact you're bigger, and they're going to think you're older and expect more from you. And, I find myself telling that to my sons and reiterating some of the wisdom that she's gave to me growing up to them and trying to guide them into being good people and being good citizens, because I never try to push them into something. Like my oldest son, I played basketball, but wasn't his thing. So, and I can't say I wasn't disappointed. I would have liked, I would have liked to have seen him follow in my footsteps, but I wanted him to be happy and be able to pursue his own path. And I think that's one of the things you have to do, is you have to let your kids make their own decisions on their journey and make their, choices that they think they're going to have to be happy with and live with the consequences of what choices they make. And I think that's, really important, to let kids be who they are and not try to force them into, oh, I was a basketball player, so you're going to be a basketball. I've never, my mom never made me play. She just told me, she said, if that's what you want to do, then go for it, and, and go and give it all you got. And she always supported me with playing, and, and always encouraged me when, if I had a bad game or didn't do, or, something didn't go the way I was expecting, she was always right there by my side. And that's what I try to do with my kids. I try to, if he gets, when my little one falls off his bike, comes in crying, I patch him up, and then I tell him, I said, now you gotta go back out, get back on the bike, and get back up and keep trying. Right. That's how you get better. I told him, I said, you'll be okay.
Right. Well, you lived in New York, lived in Utah, lived in Minnesota. Now you're back home. What's next for Felton Spencer?
Right now, I'm enjoying, time with my family, with my little ones, with my mom and my sister. I still have one of my sisters, and my brother still lives here. I have a sister in Atlanta, and then I have one also in Charlotte. My niece is a teacher in Charlotte also. She just graduated college. She's teaching in a high school up there. So I travel. I'm doing some traveling and spending time with the family, and enjoying a little downtime. I was coaching for a little bit, and then I had a few health issues and got those straightened out. Now I'm relaxing and enjoying life and waiting to see what the next opportunity comes along.
Man, I will tell you this. I've told other guests this. You're a great person. I love the fact.
Thank you, sir.
I love seeing where you were at one time to where you got to, and you're here now and you're still making a difference. I know I've been out to a few different places. You've come out and you've spoken for me to some kids. I know where your heart is. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I know that you could have been anywhere. You could have been doing anything for anyone. But one thing about you, and I'm being very serious when I say this, I don't think I've ever asked you to do something and you said no. So I want to say thank you for being here today, man, because you are not only the chief, you're not only Noonie, but you're my boy. And I appreciate everything you've done for me, everything you're doing for this community as well.
It's my pleasure, man. Happy to be here. And like I always tell you, all you got to do, you got my number anytime. Call me. I'll be happy to. And I appreciate what you do, because I think it's good for kids to see successful people out in the community give back. You came from Indianapolis, you've made Louisville your home, you're a very public figure, you're out and about, and I think you make a huge difference, because I think kids see, like you said about me, I remember when you first came on campus. I remember the first day you came to the gym, and to see you, Judge Webb, I'm very proud of you and what you've accomplished. And
man, thank you.
And I know you make a big difference. I'm continuing to. And like I said, I'm enjoying life, but I try to, whenever I can, if anybody needs me, they know how to find me.
I appreciate it, man. This went by too quick. It went by too quick. I will tell you this. Once again, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And we'll be back next week with another episode of A Married Perspective with Judge Derwin L. Thank you all very much.